I know what you're thinking. Solve hundreds of situations, like people more than you think you do. Who are these people? What did I just click on? Bear with me for a minute. This webinar is actually for you. If someone in your life makes you feel so confused, angry, or disappointed that you're unsure what to do or say, or if you keep running into the same baffling situations in your personal life that end with you feeling bad about yourself and or bad about humanity, or if you find yourself feeling so disconnected that you end up spacing out, watching bad TV, scrolling the internet beyond what feels good, or generally avoiding important situations in your life. So, okay, hopefully you're still watching, but most of you came through our online quiz and everyone wants to talk about their superpower. So let's start there. Keep in mind that much of what I say today will actually apply to all the superpowers. In fact, all the superpowers are meant to be used together, but we all come with a personal style, and that style is a doorway to deeper, richer, more satisfying connections in our life. Now, maybe you have the deer style, and you feel like this whole thing is a bit too much, too salesy. Come on, Greg, calm down. But maybe in the deer style, you feel like communication is always too much, and nobody understands the simple power of just being quiet, just pausing to connect without words. But I'm here to say to you today that in our courses, we've had deer style people truly embrace their superpower with full confidence and become the exact person in the room who gives us all the gentle reminder to breathe and listen to everyone's voice, not just the loudest ones. This is a real superpower, the power of mindful presence, and it's the basis for all of the others. Now, you lions might feel that you already know how to solve your problems and know exactly how to connect with others. But then, why are you watching this? There are some problems, right? Places where you're unsure what to do, situations where bad feelings keep creeping in and leaving you feeling unsettled. Well, we've had lions learn how to direct and focus the natural power they do have so that their genuine warmth infuses a room, allowing everyone to feel comfortable being exactly who they are. Now, eagles, are you annoyed with me yet? Are you waiting for me to lay out the overall map of how this all fits together? That's not a problem, eagles. Your careful attention and insistence on things making good sense is part of your superpower. But eagles who've gone through our training find that their tireless longing for the most precise understanding will also start to include the unknown, their questions, their confusion. Far from a failure, these become part of an eagle's map and a powerful source of even deeper curiosity and understanding. Horses, you want us to speak the language of the hearts, and you're absolutely right. No conversation about human connection can overlook that beneath the surface our subtle emotional bonds link us like intertwined roots that connect the whole forest. But horses who train with us also find out that disconnection is as vital as connection, that acknowledging disharmony and distance is an opportunity for deeper intimacy, and especially a way for us to connect intimately with ourselves rather than rushing into a connection that isn't quite there. Cheetahs, you want us to get to it? What's the plan? What are the steps? Do I have to listen to all of this, or can I play the video on fast forward? We welcome your forward movement and that focus on real, tangible results. But cheetahs who train with us find out the deeper view of what is really effective, that maximizing connection with each other allows us to stop pulling in opposite directions and to become real teammates who can achieve lasting value together. So your superpowers are real human resources. But before I say more, we have to talk about what connection really means. Right now, you're connected to the internet, and that connection allows up-to-date information to stream to you so that you can watch this video. But we all know that these connections depend on many factors. Your device has to be working. Your internet has to be working. Having too many programs open can slow things down. And so on. And all of these factors can make or break your connection. Now, if you get an interruption, then there's a certain feeling we get. Am I right? Did you feel something? Be honest. We all know and hate that moment. It's so painful, right? There's a special kind of anxiety that comes up. And we say all sorts of special words that we reserve for these painful moments. But understand what I'm really saying here. We're talking about our connection and how connection breaks down. How many times in real live conversations does this happen? With your spouse, with your roommate, with your coworker, with your kids. Yes, you can't blame the technology at that moment, but you hurt just as intensely and probably more so. I mean, you think the internet drives you crazy. Try it when someone you love isn't listening to you. Have you seen that clip of the video of the guy pushing his computer off the desk? If you haven't, it's just like you're imagining. He's clacking away on his keyboard and making faces, and then he snaps and crashes the computer to the floor. In our connections with people in our lives, no matter what superpower we have some version of this. And if we're honest, we really wish we had a solution. Your style of this may not be anger. It might be something else. Spacing out or frantically trying to get them to say they like you. But no matter what our style, the reality is that the connection is broken. We don't yet know how to repair it. And we're having a seriously difficult time dealing with the emotions that come up. This is what our online courses are all about. This is where the rubber meets the road. I don't care if you're someone who deals with other people's emotions professionally. You have your own. And even most professionals, therapists, psychiatrists, etc., still suffer hugely from moments like this. How do I know? Because they take our classes and they tell me. It's the great equalizer. Nobody is a professional at dealing with their own emotions. And I can tell you that after teaching students in more than a dozen different cultures around, North America and Europe, I've yet to find one group where every single individual doesn't know about this kind of pain. And that's the pain that arises from losing our attunement with those around us. So the real question is, how can I deal with these moments of disconnection? How can I stay connected to myself and my superpower instead of pushing everything off the desk. It sounds counterintuitive, but I'm going to tell you this has everything to do with paying attention. You've all heard the buzzword mindfulness, and you might be sick of it. I get that. Every other magazine cover you see is shouting about it. But what they don't tell you is that mindfulness is simply paying attention. It's literally that basic. Now, how can paying attention get me out of these painful situations I'm in? Good question. Think of not paying attention as being distracted. And being distracted is a kind of tunnel vision. We get hyper-focused on one thing without seeing the big picture. This tunnel vision might not seem like a big deal, and perhaps in some situations it's not. But let me tell you, I had a friend who had an anxiety disorder when it came to driving across bridges. He'd literally start to pass out. And he literally went into tunnel vision at freeway speeds on bridges where there was no exit, way above the ocean. And let me tell you, that was seriously scary. If you can't see, you can't steer. You aren't seeing the cars around you, and you can't protect yourself and others. Tunnel vision might work under average circumstances, but it is not a good thing when life really matters. Everything I talked about before, those emotions that come up that deeply shut us down, are due to tunnel vision and losing track of the larger experience we're having. This is exactly what leaves us feeling dissatisfied, resentful, confused, filled with rage, pushed into compulsive behaviors, so many things that turn a good life into a real struggle for day-to-day happiness. So let's try it. Let's practice paying attention to yourself. Don't be frightened. This is so basic, you'll be shocked. And those of you who are meditators, just forget that for a moment. Like I said, nobody is a professional at this. Do this from a beginner's point of view. So let's just keep this really simple. We're not even going to do a full meditation here. It's not even going to be meditation. We'll just call this checking in, paying attention, which is really what meditation is. But anyways, you don't have to worry about it. Nothing fancy going on here. So sit upright if you can. This works a little better if you're not laying down or slouched on the couch. And you want to be upright and relaxed. So find a balance point where your back can relax. And your eyes can be open or closed. I like to have mine open, so I have them down so I don't have to look around the room and figure out where to put my eyes. And then we just begin to pay attention. Now notice that first moment. That moment where you say to yourself, well, this is different. There can be some resistance there if you're like many of us. There's a feeling almost of anxiety or fear. And that's okay. Don't try to make that go away. Just pay attention to it. Include that anxiety in however you feel. And there's background noise, there's sounds coming in. That's fine. You don't have to try to make those go away. You can just let those sounds come through. And let's just focus in on the fact that you have a body. And we'll focus specifically on touch right now. Just feel touch across your body. Feel your arms and your hands and your face. Feel the air on your skin that's exposed. Feel the soft touch of your clothing. Feel the pressure where you're sitting. And pay close attention. This sense of touch in your body, is it staying the same the whole time? Is it exactly the same moment by moment? Or is it changing? When I say pay attention to your body, does your mind stay in the same kind of attention the whole time, or is it moving around? Find out yourself. Pay attention yourself. What is it like to actually pay attention to yourself? If your mind drifts off, just come back to that sense of touch in the body. What is happening now? Okay, so for today, that's all we want to do. We just want the tiniest little touch into how the body is doing. The body is just one part of, your experience. And I just want to say with that, from one perspective, you could say, who cares? Okay, I have a body. Guess what? Everybody does, and that's true. But where do you get most of your information? When you're having a conversation, where does it come through? It comes through your ears. And it comes through your eyes. And when you have reactions to something somebody's saying, you feel it in your chest or your stomach or wherever you do, right? If we don't pay attention to our body, we're not paying attention to any conversation. So that's why we begin with paying attention. That's why mindfulness is a critical part of this. And that's what we're going to really get into in this course. So you did it. Now, if you think this will solve all your problems in 3 minutes, I've got some bad news. This is a training process, and one we offer in all of our courses. Expanding our ability to pay attention is like any sort of training, like athletics or professional training. It takes time and effort. And of course, you might be busy. You might even be extremely busy. But like my friend on the bridge, are you too busy to learn how to not crash the car? Take a moment and realize how much hassle you face day to day because of the dramas that get created by shutting down your full awareness and missing crucial cues about what's really going on with yourself, with someone you love, with someone who doesn't like you. One hassle like this can take up a year of your life, if not more. Of course, if you can solve all your problems in 3 minutes, then, great, congratulations. Go out and be a little beacon of light in the world. But for the rest of us, we need some structure and some instruction to really get to what's causing us this trouble, to see ourselves, how this shapes our relationships, our conversations, our family life, and all the rest of it. And we need to learn how to be the solution, not just hear someone talk on and on about it.
But this approach has been one of the easiest, most practical communication tools I've learned. And I've been doing work with communication and mindfulness for many years, decades, actually. And the reason that I think it's so powerful is it is simple, it's memorable. And when I'm in a situation, I don't have time to think of what are the 10 things that some teacher told me that I should be doing right now. I don't have time to say, well, let me just pause and meditate for 5 minutes, and then I'll get back to you. I need something in a moment that I can at least use to connect back to myself, to say, okay, Chris, what's happening now? And then once I give myself that time, I can kind of rally. And this is where my ongoing study with you has helped with Green Zone, is that once I can identify the light, then it's like it brings back all those other great things that I've learned. But it's a way, it's like a compass. It points me back in the right direction.
Now, no matter which style you have, this is for you. Maybe you're in a challenging romantic relationship and want to uncover that real love that brought you together in the first place. Maybe in your family, things are fine, but you remember times when you were all genuinely close and you want to find your way to that closeness again. Perhaps others don't listen when you speak, and you want to find a way to speak clearly and powerfully. Or when you speak, everyone gets upset and you don't know why. You want a way to say your piece without triggering endless dramas. Whatever your reason is for being here, you want to connect. And you're tired of feeling disconnected. Or, at the least, you're tired of having to deal with the results of disconnection. In our 6-part course, we'll look at the root of the problem, how we even begin to get disconnected in the first place. We'll look at that first moment when your partner says, hey, did you hear what I just said? Or when your teenager rolls their eyes and says, you just don't get it. We'll explore our own hidden self-judgments, which is the secret driver which derails our superpowers and turns them against us. And we'll learn a method to begin to turn that process around and build our strength again. We'll look at the ways in which we stop trusting ourselves and how to find our way back to that sense of wholeness and healthiness that kids have when they're playing and, nobody is watching. We'll learn especially what to do when we feel disconnected from someone important, and how to work with our emotions in a helpful and fruitful way. We'll learn about why we sometimes don't hold good boundaries and how having poor boundaries actually disconnects us from those we hold dear. And we'll look at how we get disconnected from the larger world, our communities, our societies, even our planet. Now, today, I still have hard days. I do, I'm not gonna lie. But my hardest days are easier than many of my easy days. before I learned about any of this. Today, when life throws me a curveball, when someone reacts poorly to what I'm saying or doesn't appreciate my presence or tries to push me around in a conversation, I feel so much more able to be stable and steady. I don't get lost, or at least not for as long. I can work with the very real intensity of those emotions that come up. And believe me, they come up. And I'm able to be more patient and find opportunities for reconnection when they're available. And, when they're not, I know they're not. And I stop trying to get blood from a stone. Now, in the old days, none of this was available to me. I spent endless hours doubting my own worth and my own mind and heart. I felt, paralyzed by even minor issues, and I spent endless hours and days and months and even years going the wrong direction and making even small issues worse. I think of how much my life was wasted by not understanding myself and what was going on in those situations. But today, instead of judging myself for what I didn't know, I just want to teach this so you don't have to go through what I did. I want you to feel the relief of learning to trust yourself, alongside some crucial hints of how to use your innate human abilities to navigate successfully towards more connection, more love, more friendship, better work relationships, all of it.
Yeah, so a person that I've worked with, she actually took one of my 1-hour introductions to mindful communication, where I used the lights. And I just had an opportunity to talk with her yesterday. Now, this is a person who's highly trained. She's actually trained as an attorney, been a professional for a long time, been a manager for a long time. And when I asked her yesterday, even from that short introductory course, what did she take away? She said, I can tell you the lights, the traffic lights, that even with her taking other courses or having other training in communication, this is what she cited as being most helpful for her to be able to know immediately what's going on in a conversation. So if you think about it, many of us have done lots of classes and read books, right, on communication. And I'm so glad I've done all of that. And I love that I have all that knowledge. But what she was saying reminded me of my experience, is that in the moment, you just don't have time to retrieve all that deeper knowledge. You need something quick, something memorable that can be impactful. So for her to validate that out of all the things that we had talked about, this being such a powerful metaphor for her that she's using in her life, whether it's in personal conversations or professional conversations, it's like, what's better than that?
Now, we've had people say to us, I'm an introvert. I don't even like dealing with people. How can this help me? All I can say is introverts especially need help with this. You suffer more than other people around interpersonal dramas. Half the time, it's why you aren't so excited to leap in with others, right? Introverts are welcome, and your introverted style does not have to change. We're not going to, force you to hang out and chit-chat at cocktail parties or anything horrible like that. Along those lines, others say to us that they feel safer holding a distance from other people so they won't be so vulnerable to being mistreated. Listen, I understand. And if that worked until the end of time, great. But you're still here. You long for something more. You want to feel connected, even if only to specific people, while still feeling safe, which is a very reasonable thing to long for. The question is how to assess safety and keep an appropriate distance from those that aren't safe. That's what we'll get into in this course. Others say to us, what if I learn this approach but others don't know it? Trust me, it doesn't matter in the slightest. This isn't some system that you'll, memorize and others need to know the steps like some sort of dance class. This will allow you to navigate in real time with any person, from your closest loved ones to a total stranger on the street. What if I'm an eagle and I never understand lions? What if I'm a horse and nobody will ever understand the longing I have for love? Trust me, just join in with us. We'll get underneath these valid questions and concerns and really look at why they're coming up in the first place. What happens when we unlock these misunderstandings and negative patterns that hold our life hostage? I think of one participant in a basic course we offered in Holland years ago. At the closing circle, she shared, saying, I feel like a curse has been lifted from my life. Can you hear that statement? Another participant said that from the realization she'd had after one particular class, she felt like her life had truly changed. And this happened to be a dedicated meditation and mindfulness teacher. A third participant, a hospital administrator, said he'd come to be better at work, but realized that this touched every aspect of his life. This is not just another training. This goes deep. This gets down to the bottom of who we are and helps us discover how much positive potential we really have. Looking back at my own progress, I see that now I've come to know in tough situations when to stop talking. I know when to push in. I know when to calm someone and encourage them. I know when to back away. I know when to tell a joke and when a joke is the wrong approach. And like I say, this isn't memorized. Through my training with my mentor who developed this powerful approach, I was able to look back into my own intuition, intellect, and sensory attunement for clues. And the good news is that you've got that too, just from being a human being. Now, of course, you can do this all on your own. Go out and buy The 5 Keys to Mindful Communication by Susan Gillis Chapman. That's my mentor. You won't be disappointed. But we've seen in our courses huge transformations because people have an easy structure to follow, potent exercises to try, a schedule they can come back to so that they don't just drift off like so many of life's great plans. Even with people who come in feeling terrible, who feel like they're built wrong, people who feel they've let others down or they've half given up on humanity, they find something here, something real, something which helps guide themselves back to who they actually are. This is for you. It can work for you if you've lost hope. This is for you if you keep walking into the same painful situations over and over. This is for you if you're heartbroken. This is for you if you're trying to deal with really complicated situations that keep throwing you off balance day after day. This is for you if you're lonely and want to connect more. This is for you if you feel like everything you've tried hasn't worked. You're welcome here. I say this thinking of some good friends who joined a class. They weren't into meditation. This wasn't their style of thing. They happened to be introverts and didn't especially enjoy looking at how to connect with others. But they were hurting. And they knew me, so they joined. And both expressed to me how helpful it was and how important. So whoever you are, this is for you. Unless you truly do not want to connect with others in your life and are happy living in a cave and hope to never come out again, then how are you getting internet right now? You're living in a cave and you're still surfing the internet. Come on. I am clearly amusing myself and possibly only myself. Okay, let me tell you exactly what I'm offering you today. During this sale only, we're offering you a special discount, which we'll talk about in a minute. If you join today, you get the online course, which includes a workbook PDF with helpful diagrams and models, so you can visualize what we're offering in a simple way and remember it when you really need it. You'll also have access to discussion forums where you can talk about your experience with other students, share resources you find, and get feedback from some of our course leaders. And we've all done courses, where we learn something great, but it just doesn't stick. So as a bonus, we'll give you a free 2-month membership in our online community. This is where you can dialogue with others, hear live broadcasts from myself and other teachers, and get continuous encouragement to really use what you've learned in everyday life situations. I don't know about you, but I find regular reminders like these so helpful. During this special sale, we'll also offer those who join the class our free Mindful Communication video bundle. This bundle includes a series of thought-provoking videos to help us work through the issues surrounding COVID, racial injustice, and gender fluidity. In addition, you will receive a free video titled A Revolutionary Approach to Working with Uncertainty, which will help you stave off communication breakdown. You'll also get our video, The 4 Seasons of Relationship, presented by our wonderful teacher, Esther Hasselman, where she guides you through a lighthearted exploration of the shifts that every relationship encounters. We're also happy to provide you with a video titled How to Keep Toxic Communication from Spreading, which is exactly what it sounds like. And finally, we think you'll enjoy Flowing with the River of Life's Changes, a gentle guided meditation. Now, we previously sold courses like this for $749. The value of the free months in the online community is $50 alone. But because we believe so strongly in this approach, and we want you to get a taste of it, I'm going to offer you our early adopter price of only $149. And to deal with any concerns you might have, I can also offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. So there's no risk at all. So to sum it up, firstly, for a limited time only, you will get the course for $149 at $600 off the regular price and an 85% discount. It includes the PDF workbook with helpful diagrams and models and access to dedicated discussion forums. Secondly, you will get a chance to practice what you learn in this course with 2 free months in our interactive online community. Thirdly, a whole slew of wonderful videos that discuss everything from contemporary issues we all face to working with your relationships. And lastly, when you want to calm yourself, you can listen to a gentle guided meditation. This is a value of over $995 for only $149. That's 85% off and a tremendous value. And this is only available for a limited time. So be good to yourself. Join us. Your superpower is real, and the deepest part of your humanity is what this world needs. If you can develop your power into what it really can be, your life can not only be less painful, but you can also be a help to others. The life of one person touches many. One conversation with someone who knows themselves and trusts themselves can help a struggling person keep going another day. And in tough times, that's no small thing. Please appreciate yourself and click the purchase button to join us.